Hello, good morning from a sunny Altrincham, which is a suburb in southwest Manchester. Okay, and finally I have left the London area and I've gone up north. Okay, because, well, I don't know how well you can see it over there. Okay, but there is the Manchester Metrolink network, and today I'm going to attempt to travel to all 99 Metrolink tram stops in the fastest time possible. So, let's do the Metrolink challenge. We're off. Let's have a seat. If you've seen the channel before, you'll probably have seen my Metrolink route planning video, where I explained the route that I would take. The thing is, since recording that, I think they've changed a few schedules around on both the Metrolink and the national rail services operating around here, and the bus services, all of this stuff. Okay, so I think this route I'm going to be doing today will be ever so slightly different. Okay, but we're off. Done. Hopefully, we'll be done about just about 6 hours. No idea if I got that on camera, but just left Timperley and I spotted an abandoned platform, and that is because the Metrolink is probably more than half repurposed. It's about half repurposed or converted heavy rail lines, or using old abandoned lines, that sort of thing. And I looked up, I think it's definitely over half, but I don't know how much. Okay, certainly certainly the Altrincham line, that one I think it was a national rail line which was converted to work for light rail. So that's a cool fact. Check it out. Another one. Another one at Brooklands, of course. It looks like it's only the end bit of the platform, okay, because there you can see you've still got...
This is a service to Bury via Market Street. The next stop will be Sale.
Okay, you can see the actual platform, but because the trams are smaller, they don't need to use the end bit of the platforms, and so they border them off so that people don't, mess about over there. And wonderful exposure. Thank you. Come on. It's a very warm and sunny day. It really is. So, just leaving Old Trafford tram stop. Hooray for sports. And next one's Trafford Bar, which is our first interchange of the trip. So that's why I'm getting up, getting ready to run out. Go. Alright. The annoying thing is that at Trafford Bar, the platforms are bay platforms. Okay, which means that I have to go up out of the station / stop. Okay. Also, by the way, I might say station instead of tram stop. Okay, because like technically, it is meant to be tram stop, but it's a railway thing, and I'm used to saying station for that. So yeah. Oh, that's an Altrincham. You can't see it, but that one there, that's going to Altrincham. So I don't want to get on that because that's just going to go back where I just was. So that's yeah, that's not going to help me. And here we go. Here's my East Didsbury tram, for which I need to be sat right at the back. Okay, so let's do that. Alright, tram number 2. Okay, just that's mad. Just got to Firswood. No one got on, no one got off. So we sat there for a couple of seconds and then we're back off again. Next stop is Chorlton, which replaced the station Chorlton-cum-Hardy, which was actually referenced in the Flanders and Swan song, The Slow Train, which lamented the station because it was and the beaching cuts. Okay, so a lot of stations got mentioned in that, I guess. So while I'm on the tram to East Didsbury, I thought I'd give some fun facts about the history of the Metrolink. Okay, because what would this video be if I didn't add in a couple of fun facts? Probably going to be more than a couple. Okay, but it opened in April 1992 on the Bury and Altrincham lines, which, as I mentioned before, were both converted from heavy to light rail. Okay, then 3 months later, a spur to Piccadilly opened, and the Metrolink itself was declared officially open by Queen Elizabeth II. And that was phase 1. Phase 2 involved the Eccles line, which I'll get to later, of course. Okay, and then phase 3 was split into 3A and 3B due to funding and planning constraints. Okay, which consisted of the lines from Oldham and Rochdale. Okay, and the ones to East Didsbury that I'm on now, and Ashton-Under-Lyne, and the Manchester Airport line.
This is a service to East Didsbury. The next stop will be Burton Road.
Okay. And then we also got a spur to Media City, UK, in phase 3. Okay. So I now have a very tight connection from here at the East Didsbury tram stop and the National Rail station. That's about Google Maps and all says it's about an 8-minute walk. Okay, but I'm, as you can probably tell, I'm doing a light jog. Okay, and I'm hoping that I can make the 10:47 Northern service that will take me over to Manchester Airport, or I'll be able to pick up the airport line. Although, as I'm saying that, I'm getting a little bit out of breath. I think I'm gonna make it. My watch says it's 10:44, and I'm pretty much at the station. So, I think I've got this. Oh, blast. Oh, fast TPE service. Didn't catch it on camera, but there was a person waving it in the back cab of that train just there. So yeah, that was nice.
This is Manchester Airport. Leaving the train here, please take note.
Right. Need the Metrolink platform. Actually, oh quick. So I think it was 07. Oh my word, it's still there. Come on. 1 minute. Come on. No, don't leave. I made it. Yes. Oh, okay. I think what happened is the northern train I was on was delayed by about 8 minutes in the end. Okay, and when I was looking at the train schedule, okay, it said that it would get to Manchester Airport at I think 8 or 9 minutes past. However, because Manchester Airport is on a spur, sort of like this, okay, the driver has to get out of the cab at the front and walk to the other side, the other end, to then drive it in reverse out the other way. And so what Google Maps didn't take into account was that whilst it takes about 3 minutes for the driver to walk down, but it would mean that that's the 3 minutes that was delayed. So instead, rather than it arriving at 11:08, it would depart the airport at 08, but it still arrived at 11:05, which meant I had about a minute and a half to run for this tram, which I did make. So yeah. Oh dear. Okay. I'm gonna take a well-earned rest, I think, from here to my next transfer, which I think is Cornbrook. Okay. So yeah, let me do that.
Stop the Martins Croft.
I'm not sure how clear it was, but we are at Bench Hill stop. Okay, and that just makes me think of Beck Hill, the comedian, who's a good friend of mine. Beck, if you're watching, hiya. Okay, because the name is so very close to her name. Okay, and Beck, if you haven't done this, next time you're in Manchester, come down on the Metrolink down to Bench Hill and just put your hand over the N, and it'll be your name. I just think that, got terrible exposure on this, okay, because of the sun. Like I said, it's a very sunny day. The other thing I'll mention now, okay, is that originally there were plans to use old San Francisco Metro tram cars Okay, but it was found that they were unfit for purpose, and so these ones, well, not these ones, because these are newer ones themselves, I think. Okay, but yeah, they had to basically order new ones to use on the Metrolink here. Okay, but yeah, how far in are we? We are. Let's have a look. We are 1 hour and 15 minutes in. Okay, so yeah, and I haven't lost any time because I've still made all the connections and things that I wanted to make. So things are looking alright. And I knowing things that are live, that's going to end up jinxing it, isn't it? But, yeah. Whatever happens, happens. Okay, we're approaching Sale Water Park, and I'm not sure how clear it was just there, but there is option for a crossing point. Well, not option, there is a crossing point, and the reason that's there is so that should the Metrolink need to terminate at this stop, so like for example, there's a fault further along the line, or during peak hours they need a tram to go back into the city, that kind of thing. Okay, there is an option.
Service to Victoria via Market Street. The next stop will be Barlow Road.
Okay, there is an option to terminate here, turn around, and head back into the city. So, no, I like that. It's good. It's good. Oh, and the other thing, what I forgot to mention when we were at Sale earlier. Okay, Sale tram stop actually appears in the intro title sequence for Pro Evolution Soccer 2. I've never played it because I'm not into sports or sports games. Okay, but I have been reliably informed by Wikipedia that it exists. So you can find the video, I guess, and try and spot the tram stop yourself. Yeah. Okay. So, right. So, Cornbrook. Now, I have got a little bit of a dilemma. You see, in my original plans, okay, I had planned to get the next tram to the Trafford Centre, okay, and then get a bus over to Eccles. That's what's in my schedule. However, there's a Media City UK tram in 2 minutes. Okay, and Media City, it's on a weird spur. It's an awkward service. It's an awkward stop to tick off. Okay, so basically, I have got to decide whether I go to Media City and do it this way, or get the Trafford Centre tram that I had already planned to get, but then you risk I risk missing certain services. You know, it's a real tricky one to try and work out. I've got to. Well, as you can see, I did get on the tram, so I've committed now. Okay, and yeah, I hope this works. Okay, I think I did make the right decision, because the frequency of the bus that I want to get is pretty good, but the time that it takes to get from the Trafford Centre bus station to the tram stop, basically if I do doing this, I get a couple of extra minutes to make that connection, so I feel a little bit more confident. Okay. Although I'm second guessing myself so much now. Okay. Well, one thing I will say, okay, is that we're approaching Pomona, okay, and the interesting thing about Pomona is it's the least used tram stop on the Manchester Metrolink.
Please have tickets for passage ready for inspection at this stop.
Hold on, I wrote it down. With 23,730 entries and exits. Yeah, there you are. Okay. Okay. Which I guess makes a little bit of sense because I think Pomona is used more as an interchange tram stop as opposed to someone like actually needing to get out here. Okay. So yeah. Anyway, yeah. Least used Metrolink stop. Okay, while we're on the way to Media City UK, I thought this would be a good opportunity to mention Weatherfield tram stop, okay, which is the fictional tram stop used on the Coronation Street set, which is filmed at Media City UK. Of course, that's not the only show that's filmed in the Media City UK studios. Okay, you've also got Countdown, which, if you know me, you'll know is my favourite game show, of all time. It is my favourite, and so I thought that it would be a fun little thing if I gave you all a conundrum to attempt. Okay, so the letters there. Okay, I don't know how clear it is, but it's milk toner are the letters. Okay. I haven't thought of a clue because I only came up with this morning, and I haven't had time.
This is a service to Media City
think
UK.
of a clue.
The next stop
Okay,
is
so
Media City UK,
okay,
where this service terminates.
okay. But if you want to know the answer, check back at the end of the video. I'll tell you then. Media City UK we're approaching. We're on the left platform from direction of travel. Okay, and I've got a 5-minute run over to Broadway now. Okay, the annoying thing for me is it started raining and I'm in my shorts, so this will be fun. Oh my word, it is proper rain as well. Well, do you know what? We can say that I'm dressed like this because I'm cosplaying as a northerner. Okay, because it is a thing that northern people can walk around in the rain with shorts and a t-shirt, and it's nothing to them. So, you know how I was saying earlier that it's a nice sunny day and it was all warm and nice? It's not anymore, is it? There we go. Next one is in 4 minutes, it says there. Okay, I can wait 4 minutes. This is where I'm wondering, should I have just gone Trafford Centre like that? Oh, Whatever. I've committed 10 minutes ago when I was at Mona, so yeah. Okay. At least I've got a shelter here. Oh boy. Okay, so while we're on this tram, I thought I would mention that our plans to extend the line. Okay, so we've just turned left, okay, from Broadway to Langworthy. Okay, and there are plans to extend the line straight from Broadway up to Salford Crescent via Regent's Road roundabout. Okay.
This is the 52 service to the Trafford Centre.
Cheers. Oh, right then. Now, in theory, I've got a minute, not even that, I think, to run to the tram stop. It's not gonna happen though. No. Right. Although I will say, sun's come out again now. Thing is, what I didn't think about when I was deciding to do the Media City run first was what I was going to do after. Okay, as in, my original, the plan that I had initially was to go to Deansgate Castlefield and then change for the Pink Line and get that up to Rochdale. However, I don't know whether the service schedules will line up now, and I might have actually made a terrible mistake. So I'm going to have a seat and try and figure out what will work best. Okay, here's the plan. I've had a think. Okay, I'm going to take this tram to Deansgate Castlefield, where it terminates. Okay, get off, change for a Pink Line tram to go and knock off, Exchange Square. Okay, because only the Pink Line serves that tram stop. Okay, and then change again at Victoria to get a Yellow Line tram up to Bury. And from Bury, I can get a bus over to Rochdale and pick up a tram from there, and hopefully everything should still work out fine. I hope that. So, I'm just approaching Cornbrook again. And something I didn't mention earlier because I didn't have time is that the Cornbrook tram stop is named after the Cornbrook tribute. I was going to say river, but it's not river, it's a brook. Okay, but it was a tributary of the Irwell, which is the river that runs through Manchester. However, when the railway was built, they put it in a tunnel underground. Okay, so it doesn't really exist anymore. Okay, this is just teasing me now. See, the annoying thing is that the service that's one tram ahead of me is a service that goes all the way to Rochdale. Okay, because the Pink Line alternates every 6 minutes between services that go to Short and Crompton or ones that go all the way to Rochdale Town Centre. The one that ahead of me is going to all the way to Rochdale. Okay. And I can see it. I can see it from the tram that I'm on now. Okay. And that's just... And... yeah, that's just damned annoying.
This is a service to shore via Exchange Square. The next stop will be Exchange Square.
We're not there yet. We are only at St Peter's Square. Okay, and I mentioned earlier that Pomona was the least used tram stop on the Metrolink. Well, St Peter's Square here is the most used, with 4,930,000 entries and exits from this stop, which is bizarre to consider because, you know, the next ones down the list are about 2 million, so this is nearly twice as many entries and exits here as the next most used. Mad, if you ask me. Manchester Victoria. Okay, now on the tram to Bury. We'll wait for them to finish doing ticket checks. Sounds like they have. Nice. Right, about a 30-minute journey up to Bury now. Let's go. Something I didn't mention at Victoria was that when they converted the Bury line from heavy rail to light rail, okay, they didn't actually change where the platforms were. So what were platforms 5, 6, 7 and 8 at Manchester Victoria are now platforms A, B, C and D for the Metrolink. So, yep, over there, that must be the tram depot, hidden behind all those trees, because I didn't get to the window fast enough. Great.
The next stop will be Heaton Park.
So, you can see just sort of over there how much concrete there is at Boca Vale. Okay, and it's because it was designed to sort of mirror a lot of London Underground stations, which it's Charles Holden, isn't it? He liked his concrete. I don't think he designed that, but it mirrored that. Yeah. All right, we've just arrived at Heaton Park.
This is a service to Bury. The next stop will be Prestwich.
And two things about Heaton Park. First, they've got their little tramway, okay, which their heritage tramway, that is. Okay, I haven't seen it or anything, or I don't know much about it, but I know it exists. Okay, I think it's just a small stretch of rails that at one end of the park that, you know, the trams just sort of shuttle back and forth in. Yeah, so there's that, but more interesting for me at least is the trig point in Heaton Park, which is the highest point in Manchester. Okay, and that's used for it was used for measuring the distances between different places across the country. Okay, because it's like the whole thing of triangulation. You know, if you know how far point A is and you know how far point B is, and you know that the height difference, then you can work out what the actual height is, because trigonometry, hence the name trig point. Okay, just pulled into Bess's at the barn. Okay, and what's interesting about this tram
This
stop?
is a service to Bury. The next stop will be Whitefield.
Okay, thank you. What's interesting about this stop is that it's the only stop on the Bury line that originally had a single island platform. Okay, so yeah, that's pretty interesting, I guess. Although for me, what I think is Bess's at the Barn is probably the most northern named tram stop here on the Metrolink. Okay, because it's got two missing letters, the F in of and the E in the, so it's Bess's of the Barn, It forgive the accent there, okay, but it's strong northern light. I love it. Right. Berry. Okay, we're going to. And basically, we've got about 2 or 3 minutes to get up to the bus stops. Okay, and then go to get the bus over to Rochdale. Yeah, things aren't looking too bad at the minute. I don't even feel need to run. Let's go. Come on. Yeah. Let's sit at the back of the top deck. Like one of the cool people. Yeah. Alright. There we go. Just gone over the 4-hour mark. So by my calculations, about 2 hours left, I think. Nice. Okay, I am a little bit upset. You see, there seems to be roadworks going on this stretch of road where I am, and that's creating an obscene amount of traffic. And what that's likely to mean is that not only will I miss I have missed the 229 tram from Rochdale, I'll also probably miss the 241, and hopefully I can still make the one after that at 53 past. You know, It is just, there's so much traffic here. It is. Alright, well, finally made it to Rochdale. Got about 2 minutes, I think. 2 or 3 minutes before the next tram leaves, so let's get over there. So I'm on Drake Street at the moment, okay, and there were plans to have another tram stop here, however they fell through because the amount of work that would have been needed was too much, plus they would have had to close the road for a long time. It just wasn't feasibly worth it, and instead what they did was built a tram stop at Kingsway, okay, which is a couple of stops from here, using the money that would have gone to Drake Street. Well, there's an airport, there's a Manchester Airport tram waiting there, but there's also an Altrincham tram on its way on this platform where I've just come in, so I think I'm going to wait for that, because they both go via Market Street, but the Altrincham one is coming in 2 minutes, whereas that one doesn't go for another 6, so...
This is a service to Altrincham. The next stop will be...
Right. Sorry. Right. I have got to get over to Piccadilly Gardens, and hopefully I will make the next Ashton service. Okay. I hope I do. Ashton, 4 minutes away. That's cool, that's good. I can make that work. Excellent. Now that I'm here, I will give a quick shout out to the folks who I just met on the tram from Victoria over to Market Street. Okay, a very friendly bunch of people. Okay, so yeah, if you're watching this, hi to you. Alright. Go. It's the last tram I'll be taking for this video, and it's pretty crowded, so I doubt I'll be filming much on this. So yeah, it was too busy on the last tram to record anything substantial, so please enjoy these fun facts about the Metrolink set footage of the B-roll that I did get. Firstly, I'd like to mention that Deansgate Castlefield, interestingly the only stop with a hyphen in its name, used to be called GMEX because it was next to the GMEX Centre, but since the GMEX rebranded and became Manchester Central, the tram stop took on the name of the nearby railway station, combined with the area in which it's situated, Castlefield, hence the name Deansgate Castlefield. Whilst we're talking about renamed tram stops, Newton Heath and Moston used to be Dean Lane Railway Station, and when the line was converted to light rail, the name was swapped out for the current one. We also have that at Radcliffe, a neon sign reads, "From the tower falls the shadow," which refers to the 15th century in Radcliffe town centre. The neon sign used to light up, but apparently doesn't anymore. I didn't have time to check that because, well, I was on a strict schedule. Speaking of things which aren't there anymore, there are a number of abandoned tram stops on the Metrolink. Firstly, we have Woodlands Road, which was situated between Queen's Road and Abraham Moss, part of the original line to Bury. But in the early 2010s, it was closed and replaced with the 2 stops either side. One of them to provide a slightly better connection to the Museum of Transport. And in central Manchester, 2 stops, High Street and Moseley Street, both southbound only tram stops, were part of the original city crossing, but closed in 1998 and 2013 respectively, since Market Street and Piccadilly Gardens were in close proximity anyway, and they were replaced with a southbound platform at Market Street. However, focusing on the line that we're on right now, we can see Etihad Campus here, and the platforms at this tram stop are staggered, and that's to help relieve congestion on match days. And when the line was extended out to Droylsden, a 3-day free travel trial period was established for journeys to Piccadilly to stress test the potential traffic disruption. Unfortunately, there was little to be concerned about, and the line extension proved a success. But that's enough fun facts. Let's get back to the challenge and see how long it took. There we go. 6 hours, 25 minutes, 22 seconds. That's how long it took me to do the Metrolink challenge. let's find somewhere out the way to do the summing up. Okay, then. Woohoo! Great. Right. Well, I am speechless. Wow. 6 hours, 25 minutes, 22 seconds. I do think it is very possible to do that a lot quicker. Okay, at least 12 minutes quicker because of how the frequencies work. Okay, and as you saw, what happened was there was a load of roadworks going on when I was getting the 471 from Bury to Rochdale. These things happen. Okay, you know, I picked a day to do this. There were roadworks. It happens. Okay, but I do think it is possible to even get it to, you know, closer to 6 hours. Okay, I do think that's possible. Okay, and you might be asking yourself, Goran, why? What? Are you asking that to yourself or to me? I'm not sure. Whatever. You might be asking, Goran, why have you come to this random sort of field off the side of a motorway? Well, it's not a motorway, it's a road, whatever. Okay, you might be thinking that. And well, the reason I've come here is because I might be standing on what will be the newest part of the Metrolink. Because as I mentioned before, you know, the Metrolink was made from converted heavy rail lines or repurposed abandoned railway lines, etc. Okay, and just over there, okay, where that concrete wall is over there, okay, behind that is the Stockport to Stalybridge line. Okay, and there are talks of converting that line, okay, from heavy rail to light rail and running a Metrolink service along there. And I imagine, I don't know this for certain, okay, it just, you know, I'm just going on what I've intuitively worked out from seeing things on Google Maps, etc. Okay, but I imagine that the line will come from there and it will come up a very steep slope, okay, and join the Ashton branch here. Another thing that I found interesting was that on the announcements would say that the tram is going to Ashton, but the station itself is called Ashton-Under-Lyne. Weird, I guess, I don't know. What else? What else do I need to say in the sum up? Oh yes, so I did like the Metrolink. I think it's a really, really nice piece of transport infrastructure, and trams, you know, get a massive boost for it because, you know, it's light rail, it's more efficient, or at least better for the environment, I think. I don't know quite, yeah. Okay. The only criticism I have on the Metrolink is that they don't announce the stations, or the stops rather, before you arrive. Okay, so you'll depart a station, okay, and it will say this is the service to Bury. The next stop will be something. I can't remember any of them. Queen's Road. That was one on the Bury branch. Okay, but so it will say something like that. But then once you get to Queen's Road, it doesn't. The announcements won't say this is Queen's Road, okay, or anything like that. The only time it does say that is when there are strong interchange opportunities. So, for example, at Victoria, you pull into Victoria and it says, this is Victoria, change here for all these other services. Okay, and I think I would have appreciated an announcement once you have arrived at the station, in case you're not necessarily paying attention and you mishear it and you can't read the read the passenger information thing at the front because there are too many people, or you're partially sighted, all this stuff. Okay, but that would be my advice. Okay, but yeah, just under 6.5 hours. I'm pretty proud of that. I'm very proud of that. As always, okay, if you enjoyed the video, then hit like, hit subscribe, do all the things, and I'll catch you in the next one. Ha! Tricked you! You didn't think I'd leave without telling you the answer to the conundrum, did you? No, of course not. No, so the word that we had, and it's very windy and the focus isn't great, it was milk toner. Okay, and the answer, well, I didn't give a clue, but I mean, if you think about it, you could probably work it out from the subject of the entire video. Okay, the answer was Metrolink. Of course, yeah, of course it was. Okay, yeah, that was just a bit of fun on my part. All right, catch you later. Right, time for the pub.